Welcome in to No One to Blame. Kevin here, along with Jake, FB Data. A little light show today. Jesse not going to join us, had some prior engagements. So just me and Jake today. Knock it out, rip through these NFL slate, little news and notes, get you some bets, some good props for the week. Jake, how's it going?
Good slate. I feel like you first look at it and it looks a little bleak, but man, I'm excited for today.
Yeah, man. All right, before we get going here, we are brought to you by Altered Grounds Landscaping, St. Louis and Metro East award-winning outdoor living company. Altered Grounds is the area's top professional landscape company. They're a family-owned and operated business serving St. Louis and the Metro East for 20 plus years. Their mission is to make your home or business stand out from the rest. They specialize in elegant landscaping and outdoor living and are renowned for their dramatic, better than TV backyard transformations. They offer free consultations year round. Get $300 off your project to $3,000 or more with code AGNOTB. That's code AGNOTB. Some of their services: patios, retaining walls, fire pits, water features, outdoor kitchens, concrete work. Pools, some of the best pools you'll see in the Midwest. Go check them out on Instagram. They do amazing work. Got the waterfalls, got the features, got the slides. Kind of ties us into Kayak Pools, another sponsor, Do Champions. No One to Blame. Also, like to talk about Kayak Pools. Kayak Pools is a hassle-free pool experience that empowers customers to turn their own backyards into a fun and relaxing family destination. Summer's over, getting into that fall. Start thinking about your pool next year. We kind of have the pool game locked in from the Midwest all the way to Western New York. So any needs you got with that, hit Kayak up, hit Alter Grounds up. They will definitely take care of you. All right, paid some bills, Jake. Let's get into some action here. Little news and notes. College yesterday wasn't crazy about the slate of games, but had some good games, had some blowouts. Couple notes: Indiana 7-0. Hoosier State, that Hoop State is getting a little football action going, man.
Big
I
game
like
next
it.
week. Big game next week.
Yeah, they funny stat. Second half, I don't know if you've seen this. They only threw the ball 5 times in the second half yesterday.
That's
Crazy.
crazy.
They just pounding the rock. Got another win. One of the things I wanted to see continue that didn't. Notre Dame kind of ended that Navy Cinderella story. Kind of ends that run. So I don't know. Being from closer to that area than me, what's your thoughts on that game, Jake?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame needed to turn it around, so it was nice that they did. But yeah, the Navy was definitely the story you wanted to see come out and keep the run going. So, I mean, not a bad loss, but it would have been a monster win if they could have pulled it off.
Yeah, I think everybody that Navy Army, this year
Hmm.
everybody's rooting for that, man.
Definitely.
Uh, Baseball. So yeah, Dodgers go up 2-0.
Hmm.
I don't follow baseball hugely during the season, but World Series and playoffs come around. Yeah, I'm watching. Man, home runs to start that game last night. What
Hmm.
was it? Three home runs, scored all the first runs in that.
Yep.
So yeah, final on that. I think it was what 4-2. Um,
Yep.
yeah.
Hockey,
Couple injuries. Go ahead.
Sabres had a big win yesterday. That was really nice to see. They needed to get a little bit of a run here, especially against their slate. They played Detroit at home, and first game in the black and red, the Goat Heads, and they had a really good game, and that was a big win for them. So that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, only thing, a couple injury. Tyreek Hill was questionable, kind of late.
Hmm.
They're saying he's going to play now, so that's
Yep.
obviously big for the Dolphins in that game with Tua, trying to come back get them rolling. Debo expected to play after his pneumonia. Jaden Daniels expected to play, which they needed that. They needed that 1-2 matchup with him and Caleb Williams.
So the line moved a ton with that news. It was
Oh
+3
yeah.
Washington last night. It is now -1.5 Washington. So
Wow.
4.5 point swing
Yeah,
is
yeah.
massive. Yeah.
Top quarterback will do that, I guess, right?
Yeah, we'll hit that game later for sure because it's part of my best bets. But man,
Yep.
yeah, that's big movement. Speaking of injuries, what about the? So for me, the NFC contender injuries, I think are going to alter the landscape a little bit for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Ayuk out for the year. Christian Darrisaw from Minnesota, their tackle, he's out for the year. Aiden Hutchinson, arguably playing the best on the D line in football, he's out for the year for the Lions. And then Micah Parsons and Lawrence from Dallas have been out for a while, and that's really impacted them. So you see these injuries now starting to pile up, big names on some teams that we thought would be contenders, and I'm wondering how
Yeah.
much that's going to come into play here down the stretch for these teams trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Especially the wide receiver position, man, has just been brutal. I know there was some talk after the fact, but I don't know how you Bills guys. There was some talk that the Bills and the Steelers were in on conversations in that Cooper Cup before Rams kind of backed off of that once they won that game, got Puka back. I think they feel like they can make a playoff run, so they kind of backed off.
Which they
that
should,
trade.
right? I mean the
Yeah.
West is down. The NFC West is
Yep.
down. Like they're
Yeah.
very much alive. But yeah, that was interesting that the Bills were looking for another wide receiver. It sounds like if wide receivers are gonna move, it's gonna be like Deontay Johnson from Carolina,
Yeah.
and something like
I heard
that.
Christian Kirk. I actually
Yeah, Christian Kirk.
heard that name this
The
morning.
problem is the money. I think you really got to eat the money on Christian Kirk if you're Jacksonville to move him. But hey,
and he hasn't done much.
He's not had a good year this year, and he's still owed a good bit. So I don't know. I think I'd much rather have Deontay Johnson, but
me too. Yeah.
The other game for yesterday that I wanted to mention was, I don't know if you watched the Nebraska-Ohio State game, but that had some fluky calls in it, some weird momentum changers. Like Nebraska ran the ball on a play and got a first down. They didn't review it. It was clearly a first down. It was a bad spot. They didn't review it. They didn't challenge the play or anything. And Nebraska ended up not getting the first down, and it was just weird. And there were some bad flags in there. It really seemed like they wanted Ohio State to win that game. Ohio State ended up pulling it out. Yeah, but it was a weird game, real clunky to watch. But yeah, Nebraska almost went on the road and beat them. But it's hard to beat the refs and
the top 14.
Yeah, on the road.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was kind of flipping around most of the day yesterday in them games. Watched a little bit of the Notre Dame game, but I was on the move, family stuff all day, so I was kind of in and out. But all right, real quick before we get into our best bets here, I'm going to bring up Dubby. Dubby, another one of our Do Champ sponsors. Amazing energy drink that is made with clean ingredients to give you energy boost you need with no crash. They also offer an electrolyte drink to keep you hydrated. Hit the link in the bio. Use promo code DEW. That's promo code DEW, D-U-E, and get 10% off your purchase at dubby.gg. I might need some Dubby today. Jesse might need some Dubby this morning to get get him started.
He needs an IV, man. That is brutal.
Yeah. Hit up get one of them traveling IV companies, come by his house and hook him up. Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll start here, Jake, with my first best bet. So I've got three. I've got Denver -11 at home against Carolina. Bryce Young coming back, what does that do? We talked about it every week. Denver and Minnesota are kind of the top two defenses that give you the most pressure. They're coming after you. Bryce Young, when he was playing, was like the 35th ranked quarterback against pressure. So not a good combination for Carolina. it's a big number. I didn't. If
Yeah.
you would have told me, I would have had Denver this year -11 and felt comfortable
Against
about it.
anybody.
I would have against anybody. I would have
Mhm.
said no way.
Yeah.
But Bo Nix is going to run the ball. They'll keep it safe. Sean Payton will keep it safe throws, run the ball. I look for them to that defense, maybe defensive touchdown in that one. But yeah, you got any action or any comments on that one there, Jake?
Sean, thanks for joining us. Yes, Kevin is joining. He's circling the wagons and hopping on Bill's Mafia train. So I'm sure we'll get to that game
I've
later.
got takes.
Yeah, I that's part of my best bets too. I love that spot for Denver. They're at home. Javonta is really getting going on the ground, and I think they're going to be able to run the ball on Carolina. They're awful stopping the run, and I like that spot. I know it's a lot of points, but I don't see Carolina scoring a lot. Thielen's still out. Deontay Johnson's banged up. And I think Denver should run away with that game. It might be like 17-3 or something, but I still think they'll cover that. So I like that one.
Yeah.
So mine first one is Chargers -7 at home over New Orleans, and it's pretty similar to this one as well. Like I think it's a good defense that matches up against a bad offense, right? And then I think the Chargers will be able to run the ball the same, and Herbert will do enough, and they'll at least cover by at least a touchdown. So I like Chargers -7 at home. You got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. So here we got Don here in the chat. Bo Nix is the reason Carolina keeps it semi-close for
at
most
least for
of the
half,
game.
right? That's what he's been doing.
I think Sean Payton he'll try to limit that. He'll keep his his turnovers in check.
God,
No,
he's a tale of two halves, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like his Auburn Bo Nix and Oregon Bo Nix. Yeah.
Yeah, he is the ultimate Jekyll and Hyde for sure.
Yeah, two completely different people. I was laughing as soon as you jumped into that because I'm gonna go into my second best bet because I got New Orleans plus 7.5.
Let's go.
I'm on the other side of that.
That half could be important though. I had it at straight 7. So
I'm on the other side of that. I think it's too big of a number. Saints are getting a couple guys back. Taysom Hill's coming back. Olave's back. Just a little too big of a number for teams that I don't think are going to score much. So that's kind of the only reason I liked it. 7.5. Two teams that just aren't going to put points up. A little too big for my liking. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that one. So that was my second one. Go ahead and hit your second one here, Jake.
Yeah, I like Washington. So this is one where we talked about previous weeks is if you like a number, you got to grab it early because it's going to change a lot. So I have Washington +3 at home over Chicago. I had a good feeling that Jaden Daniels was going to play. I don't love Chicago. I like their defense. I don't necessarily love their offense, but they're a very different team at home versus on the road as well. And so I took the points with Washington, and now that Jaden Daniels is going to play, I feel even better about that number. But this is just more a feeling by me that I'm not a big believer on the Chicago offense. But Washington's defense isn't great, so if Jaden Daniels isn't playing well or gets banged up again and has to leave the game, it could be trouble. But the 3 points was just too much for me, especially with Washington at home.
Yeah, Washington at home. Daniels back. Hey, that'd be a good game. That's gonna be a good one to watch.
For sure.
2 young quarterbacks going at it. See if one of them can kind of step up against the other. Caleb's kind of picked it up as of late. All right. So yeah, that was my second. All right. So my third best bet here. I've got Browns Ravens over 44.5.
Okay.
And hey, I'm
Jameis effect here.
Hey, Jameis, on my notes, Jameis equals over.
Does he score more points for his team or for the Ravens?
I don't care. It don't matter. That's the point. It don't matter. He throws a pick 6. Hey, we'll take it. That's 6 on the board.
It's not a bad
Um,
call either, though, because I mean the Ravens haven't been great against the pass, but they're
yep.
also Humphrey's banged up. Their other outside corner is hurt as well, and so they're getting real thin, and he's gonna sling it. And then Chubb's back and
No,
healthy, and
yeah.
Wyatt Teller. I don't know if he's gonna play, but I know they activated him. So yeah, it's
Yeah. So I think
let's
that
see.
O line is going
Did
to
you all
get
see the
better.
odds for a
Yeah.
Jameis over half interception?
It
No, but
wasn't
it's
on
good.
the book whenever I
I'll
looked at
check.
it.
I'll see if it's up there. Let's see.
Hey, see if you can get. I looked and couldn't find it. I was trying to get 2+ on the interceptions and see what.
Oh, all right. Jameis
But
interception. Here we go. Yes, minus 198.
the +2 I couldn't pull up.
I
I
don't see a
couldn't
plus
find it.
two. Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
he saw was -260.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, it's minus 198 right now.
That's good.
No is plus
That is
150.
good. Yeah.
Damn.
I just yeah, Browns are going to throw it a little more because they're going to be able to. They literally just could not throw the ball with Watson in, man.
Right.
It kind of hamstrung them. So I like the over in that. Obviously, we know the Ravens can score. I think the
Yeah.
Browns will be able to keep it up. Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's my third best bet there.
All right. Mine is Green Bay in a little bit of a trap game on the road. -4 over Jacksonville. I think people are getting too hung up on what Jacksonville did last week. They beat up on a bad
Yeah.
New England team that came over late to London. They were there, in London all week. That's a massive advantage, and I don't think I think they're still awful. I think they're still bad. Yeah, they'll do a little stuff on offense, but I think Green Bay is going to force turnovers, and I think they should run away with that game. And so I have Green Bay -4 in that one as my last best bet. Well, not my last. I have one other bonus one. Don likes a parlay of Jameis plus Minshew interceptions. I like it. Let's see.
No, hey,
Let me get those odds.
that's
I'll
about
do that
as
parlay.
big a lock as you might get negative on that. You got to get minus on that.
Yeah, you're the Minshew expert, aren't you?
I don't think anybody's a Minshew expert.
Or at least not by
here?
choice. All right, let's see.
Don
Interception.
coming back from London and not taking a bye is so dumb. Green Bay should run away with it. I agree, Don.
I agree. All right,
I've
so
got Go
Minshew
ahead.
interception and Winston interception parlay is plus 140. I like those odds, Donnie. I like
Yeah.
those
Oh,
odds.
yeah. Yeah, plus money on them two doing what they do. Check.
Yeah.
Mark.
All right,
So
what else
yeah,
you got? You got any more best bets?
no, I'm good. You got any more you want to talk about?
I got a bonus one. This is
Go ahead, hit 'em.
one. This is one I'm sneakily really liking here. I like a couple dogs. So we'll
Gonna
get to
write
my
it down here.
my
Put
we'll
it
get
in
to my
last bet.
three
Let's
dog.
go.
Yeah, we're gonna get to my 3-dog parlay in a little bit, but I like Philly plus 126 at Cincinnati. I think it's a good matchup. I think Philly can control that game, and I think Philly can win that game. And I think I like the money line there. If I don't, there's no point in taking the points. If I'm gonna pick Philly, I'm gonna take it the money
roll
line
with
at plus 126. Yeah, and roll with them. So I like Philly, man. I think they're gonna pound the rock with Saquon, play action with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, and without Higgins. I like Philly, man. So I think that's a really nice number.
Yeah, plus number. I know they're on the road, but that Cincy defense is still not good. Yeah, Philly could run the ball, grind that out, like you talked about, play action to AJ Brown. I like that. All right. Well, finishing off your Green Bay talk on your other best bet, let's go into let's go into parlay. Let's go into parlays before we go into our teasers. So
Okay.
I've got our little 2-leg parlay here for the show. I've got Lions Titans under 44.5. And I've got Bucks Atlanta under 45.5. My only worry on the Lions Titans game is if Detroit hits it on their own. Detroit throws up a 50 burger on the
That could happen.
Lions. But no, I think Tennessee's bad. They might be the least talented offense in football. They have no weapons. They got Calvin Ridley, and he hasn't been good since his rookie year before he got suspended and all his stuff. I'm not a fan of his. And in that quarterback room, Rudolph and Levis, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lions will pound the rock. They're going to run the ball. I think my best bet. I got a little parlay action on that. We'll get into that later. In prop bets. I just think Detroit's going to be able to run the ball, run the clock out, not have to throw it a lot. Low scoring game, but they can kind of dominate Tennessee. Tampa Bay, Atlanta under 45.5. What we got here, Don? Does Dan Campbell have any personal vendetta against the Titans? Could just run up the score and throw screens to O linemen. Like, hey, I think that was proven a point against the Cowboys from last year's game.
That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think they got to watch getting a little cute in some of these bad games.
Yeah.
Save that stuff for
run
good.
the ball, dude.
Yeah, save that. Save them trick plays. Save that for big games, man. You get a big game against a playoff team at the end of the season. To me, that's when I want to pull them out. I don't want to pull that stuff out against the Titans. I don't want to run a fake punt against the Titans. I don't want to run a tackle, 2-point convert, whatever. I'd rather just keep it simple, run the rock, Jared Goff, little play action off of it. Keep it simple. And that, as far as that goes. Like Bucks Atlanta, Tampa injuries, wide receivers out. Is this a spot where Baker I'll hit on that, Don. I've got that on my sheet. Yep. I forgot what odds I got of that, but it'll come up in our props. I got them parlayed together exactly like that. Tampa, is Baker gonna feel a need to press a little bit and get old Baker back? Interceptions, forcing balls he shouldn't, just trying to make something happen because he's got no weapons. They're gonna run the ball.
Read, man. You got Atlanta out, on the road outside. Coming off a really bad loss at home to Seattle, like an ugly fourth quarter. That's a really interesting game to me. So who do you got? What do you have the points in that one or what?
I got the under 45.5.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I think Bucks sloppy, and I think Atlanta run the football. Bijan.
Yeah. And the Bucks are going to run the ball too, man.
Yeah, they're going to have to. So so that's my little 2-leg parlay there. Where you at, Jake? What you got?
So I'm calling this my 2-dog and my 3-dog parlays. I went a little wild this week. So
of course you did.
my 2-dog you guys don't bring me on here to be tame, so I got to go a little crazy. My 2-dog parlay is Philly and Dallas, plus 540. I like Dallas in this spot, man. I don't like Dallas. I'll refrain that, but I like them going against this. Right. Nobody likes them. I like them going against San Francisco here. They're coming off the bye. Kind of a must win. Big game for them. And it's just too good of money. Like, I don't think these two teams are that separated. So, I like the plus 190, and it's good enough odds for me to take a swing. And then we talked about Philly already in Cincinnati. So I put those two together, and that's plus 540. And then I threw in Washington as well as my third one for my 3-dog parlay when they were at plus 130. And so those three together got me at plus 1414. I just thought that was way too juicy to not take a little swing on those.
So let me clear that up for everybody listening or watching. Washington, Philly, Dallas money lines plus 1414. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right.
It's sexy, isn't it?
I like it. Jesse would love it. Anytime I've got any Dallas prop or any Dallas anything, he's all over me. So he would be all over you on that, Jake. I can guarantee it.
It's too good of money, man. I think people have turned too far the other way. Plus, San Francisco's just not been good, man. I have an alt parlay as well. If you're interested in that one, America's team, baby. You got it, Matt. That is it.
Yeah, that's like the triple eye roll there. I love it. Yeah.
So I have an alt parlay here. It's a 5-teamer. I got the Jets -7, Washington +3, Green Bay -3.5. It's now moved to -4. I have the Chargers -7, and then Denver -10.5 before it moved to 11. I got all those together, and it's +24.39. So I went a little crazy today on money lines. I really like game lines and money line bets. So
I think this was the first week. It seems like this was like the last week or this week. The lines were pretty big on the NFL side. There were some big numbers,
Yep.
which the first, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we didn't see any of these 10-point, like there were none of them were out there. So I don't know what to think about.
You get a
them yet.
better
I don't have
handle
to-
on the teams, this
Yeah.
far in, and
Yeah.
and obviously injuries and stuff too. So I think early in the season it's tough because you don't really know what team's going to show up.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bigger numbers don't scare me as much in this window. So we'll see. You got anything else, or we're gonna go to the Neffy special?
We can no, I'm good. Let's hit up the Neffy special, the 3-team tees, 10-point tees.
I'm undefeated. I gotta keep it going.
Are you?
Going. Yeah, I haven't missed one yet.
Okay, there we go. I think I'm the opposite of that. I might not have won one yet. So this is Neffy can keep this special. I don't like his special.
I love it.
Somebody
man.
else can buy it.
Good.
So this week I've got Green Bay +6,
Like it.
Arizona +13.5 at Miami,
Okay.
and the Jets +2.5 at New
Okay.
England. So Green Bay +6 at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 31st in pass yards given up on defense. Simple. Jordan Love's going to eat. I assume they're going to throw the ball all over. Green Bay +6. Yeah. Jacksonville's home field advantage is nothing in my eyes.
They got to run the ball, man. If Jacksonville wants to stay in this game, they got to get Bigsby going, and they got to feed him early and often. Otherwise,
ETN.
He's out.
ETN's out. Yeah. So, I just think Love's going to torch him. Love's going to torch Jags secondary.
I would I would add Trevor Lawrence to that interception parlay for Donnie, and do Minshew, Trevor Lawrence, and who was the other one we said? Jameis.
So. Then the second kind of leg of that, Arizona +13.5 at Miami. Big number. Obviously, Tua is back.
Massive game for Miami, right? I mean, massive game for Miami.
Tua is back. Cloudly with a chance of concussion. Who knows? First game back off the concussion. I don't know what he's been practicing. I don't know how all that's been going all week.
He didn't practice. He didn't practice till this week, so he wasn't allowed to. So
even if Tua's back and kind of remotely himself and has that offense kind of back on its game, these games like this, I just see Kyler kind of scrambling, doing his kind of backyard thing and keeping it close enough to cover 13.5.
That's a big number, yeah.
So that's a big number with the T's. Hill was questionable. We talked about it already. He's back today. So, and then Jets +2.5 at New England. Jets last 4 games, their losses: Pittsburgh, Bills, Vikings, Denver. Good defenses with Denver. The other ones are good teams. So everybody loves to dog on the Jets, but they have had 4 tough games this last kind of stretch. I think they could cover 2.5 at New England. Maybe Rodgers gets his offense kind of clicking against that New England defense. Get Adams kind of going. That was my 3 Neffy special there in the tees.
I like it. Yeah, I don't like rooting for the Jets, but they should win that game pretty easily. My Neffy special, I got Denver -1, Detroit -1.5, and Dallas +15 as my 10-point swings. We've covered all 3 of those games, but for the Neffy specials, I always just go by what teams I really like that I think are going to win. outright, and then you give me 10 points on top of that.
Yeah.
And I like it too
Yep.
much. I didn't mess too much around with over-unders this week. I don't. For me, it's tough when they get this far into the season. I feel like Vegas gets a really good handle on the over unders, and it becomes harder and harder. Now, granted, with the Neffy special, you get 10 points to play with, but I just, unless I really like it over under, I try to stay away from those.
Yeah, when the books kind of get that in line, like you talked about, as
Mm-hmm.
the season goes on, especially on that over under, you know, the only thing that can, if you get a pick six or a fumble, like
Right, right,
because the turnovers are so just you can't really figure them
right.
out.
Or weather.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that can kind
Yeah.
of blow that quickly or not. So, okay. Anything else on there, Jake?
No, I think we nailed it.
All right. What we
Player
got
props, right?
here? Yeah, let me let's pay some more bills here. Let me get back into our altered grounds one more time. Again, altered grounds landscape. Anything you need outdoor related. Just pure landscaping, patios, retaining walls, fire pits. They have you. Go check out their Instagram, man. If you're needing any work done outside, top of the line, go look at it. It's the same stuff you're going to see on these TV networks with the outdoor living spaces and all that. They match up with any of this stuff. $3,000 off your project of 3,000 or more with code AGNOTB. That's code AGNOTB. Yeah, these are my boys from back home. Known these guys my whole life. Good people, down to earth. Yeah, good company, man. Go check them out.
Love it. Really appreciate them hopping on and sponsoring the show.
Yeah, man. Glad to have them aboard. Try to get them a little traffic, make them some money, them take care of us, man. All right, props. So you want to just hop back and forth, Jake, on these?
Yeah, I kind of lumped some of mine together into like different themes. So
Okay.
feel free to go do a couple, or if you have a certain game, you have a couple in a game,
You know
and then
what?
I'll.
I've got five here. I'll just rip through my five,
Okay.
and then I'll give you the mic, and we'll go
I
from
got
there.
about 6 times that, so you can
Oh,
grade
I
mine and
figured
tell
you
me
would. We'll just
how dumb
you
mine
can just
are. So
roll.
all right.
So I've got Bo Nix, Bryce Young parlay over rushing yards. So I've got Bo Nix over 33.5, and I've got Bryce Young over 10.5 rushing at plus 239. I just think with
I
the
like it.
pressure Denver's going to bring is just going to maybe force Young to scramble. He scrambles once or twice. And breaks contain, because of the pressure. He should hit that 10.5 number. And I just think Knicks, Denver, Sean Payton's going to, keep it simple, involve him a little
Hmm.
bit in the run as far as Bo Nix goes. So I like that over 33.5. Thoughts on that, Jake? I
No,
like
I
it.
like
Love
it.
it. Hate it.
He's been running way better than I thought he would, and many people realize, and so I
Yeah.
always like those. Yeah, I just the spot needs to be there. Like he needs to face the pressure, and that's the only thing I worry about is he might have too easy of a game, and might not get the chance. But they do some design runs with him, so you know, I like it.
All right. Brian Thomas Jr., anytime TD, plus 140. Jags I think Green Bay is going to score. Jags are going to have to try to keep up. So they're going to take some shots down the field. He is their guy. I think he is a really good receiver. I think that offense has not been great, but they're going to go to him. He is their best receiver. Um, so Trevor to hit Brian Thomas. This one, this crap game. We got Cleveland, Baltimore. Give me Jerry Judy anytime TD plus 270 from Mo Jameis,
There you go.
famous Jameis. Yeah,
There you go. I like a little bit in this
maybe
game too. So
maybe Jameis can get Judy on the board. I'm not a big fan of Judy. He's been kind of a bust, but see if Famous Jameis can get him going. And then my last one here hit about Don. I think, yeah, he hit it in the chat here. So I have Gibbs, Montgomery, both to score a touchdown. Plus 186 is what I got it at. So kind of ties into my theme of them just trying to run the ball and in that game, move on to the next one. So yeah, that's all I got in there for my props, Jake.
I love it, man. I really like that last one. When they score, they tend to both score and they score in bunches. The harder one for me to figure out is Gibbs. I feel like Monty's pretty consistent, and it's just Gibbs. Like he either goes off or he gets tackled short of the goal line. So, but I like that one a lot. Just trying to find this last number, 113. All right. So it's National Tight End Day. I don't know if everyone knows that. I love celebrating National Tight End Day. I think it's awesome. Tight end awareness. I think they're underpaid, underappreciated. I love Tight End University. I love the characters we have in football that are tight ends. And so I did some National Tight End Day parlays to have some fun today and celebrate. So we will start it off with just the regular props. I like Sam Laporta over 32.5. I think that's just too low, especially with Jameis Winston out now. They need some kind of right. They need some kind of vertical element. He's beaten that with one reception before over 50 yards. And I don't like the Titans linebacking core. I think it's going to be their seam routes. So over 32.5. That's minus 113. Next up, Noah Fant, 3+ receptions. Tight ends have been good against the Bills. I think the middle of the field is going to be open as well against Buffalo, especially with Terrell Bernard out. So I like Fant to get 3+. It's minus 198. I like Evan Ingram to get 5+ today. T-Law really likes to throw to him. I think this is the kind of game where, they're going to play action and need to go to him. They might even be behind, and that's an even better script. Last week was tough because they kind of ran away with that one early. But I like Ingram to get 5+, and that is minus 166. I like your boy Brock Bowers to get 50+. Receiving yards, that's minus 210. They got to throw to somebody. Kansas City hasn't been great against tight ends. He is their number one target, and I don't care how Kansas City decides to defend him. The dude gets open, man. He gets open in any way. He's awesome. So I like him 50+. I like. Right. Go ahead.
Real
you got
quick
Matt.
here. Let's pop in here with Matt. Yeah, Matt. Kamara, anytime TD, can't find receiving TD, but if he gets receiving TD, he makes some history today. Is he breaking some kind of receiving running back record today? What's he got going on? Jake?
No, I don't, but that's always good when guys have those type of milestones.
Storyline.
Try to get it to him.
Yep.
I just don't know how much scoring they're going to do, so we'll see. So I like Kittle is my next one, over 4.5. Dallas is not good against tight ends. It's minus 138. And then the last one I have for tight end player props is Kraft, 40+ against the Jags. That's plus 116. That's a juicy number. They've been involving him more in the offense, and I think he's going to have a big day. You put all those together, and it's plus 21.98.
Woo!
So you can
National Tight End Day. Can it deliver? I don't know.
I also have a tight end day anytime touchdown parlays too for later, so we'll save those. But yeah, and then some player props I like today. You touched on that Cleveland Ravens game. I like Cedric Tillman here. I know Donnie does too. He went off a little bit yesterday when he was given, or last week when he was given the chance. And his lines are really low and really juicy. So plus 4 receptions is plus 124, and then 50+ yards is plus 124 as well. He went 8 for 80 last week. Really athletic guy on the outside. Someone's got to get those reps. And so I really like him today in that spot going against the Ravens secondary that's pretty banged up. So those are real low-hanging fruit for me. I like Bijan over 3 receptions. He's done that in 6 of 7 games. It's minus 188. And then if you're feeling a little froggy, you can do +4 receptions, and that's plus 116. But I think they're going to get him involved in the passing game a little bit today. And
Yeah, I
then
think I'd
same
bump that
game.
up to
Go
4
ahead.
and hit that. I think I'd bump that up to
Right.
4 and take that plus money on that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I would only do the 3 if you're doing it in like a bigger parlay and you're trying to be a
Yeah.
little safer. But yeah, that
Yeah.
4 number is nice. Same game. I like Drake London over 5.5. I don't know why they don't move his number up more. He's had 6+ receptions in the last 6 games, so
Mm.
I'll take the 5.5 and say thank you for my money.
50, 25, rushing, receiving, TDs,
So he's trying
CMC,
to join
Marshall
that
Faulk,
club.
and Lenny Moore. Yeah, Marshall Faulk, man. Back to my, growing up right outside of St. Louis, man. Them Marshall Faulk ready show on turf days, man. That's
Unbelievable.
big company there. Yep.
Yeah, man, he was fun to watch. Speaking of running backs, my next one is Joe Mixon. He's gone over 100 yards in all 3 games he's played the full game in. I like his matchup against a bad Colts run defense, so I got him going over 100, and that's plus 210, which seems crazy to me. Like he's already done it 3 times this year. So yeah, Joe Mixon over 100 rushing yards.
You know what's, man, I'd have to go look this up. It just kind of popped in my head as you were talking about him. Joe Mixon has been so much better than people thought
Hmm.
he was going to be coming out of college. He had the backstory, he had all the kind of drama, coming out of college, slid in the draft, but he has been really good when he's on the field, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
he has.
comes
You don't
right
see his body
into,
type a lot. He's a
yeah,
really big guy. People don't realize it. Big guy, runs hard. Doesn't mess around, but he's real patient too. He's kind of like
yep,
Le'Veon Bell in the essence of
Le'Veon
patience.
Bell, yep,
Not the same kind of cutting ability as Le'Veon Bell, but yeah, real patient. Sets up his blocks, and then man, just does not go down to arm tackles. Just hard runner.
yeah. He's he reminds me of kind of an older kind of a 90s style running back a little bit. Not great out of the backfield catching it, but he can. It's not he's
Yeah,
not bad. I don't know, maybe like a Curtis Martin or something. I don't know. He's been really good. I would not have thought that he was going to be this productive for this long coming out of college.
I agree. So I parlayed those 5 picks together, and it was 21-27. So pretty juicy for some numbers I think that are really hittable. I did one other parlay. Um, so I'm gonna be watching the 1 o'clock games, right? Waiting for the Bills game. So I want to do 2 kind of single game parlays that I put together. You can break them apart though if you want. It's 3 in one game and 3 in the other game. So in the Miami Arizona game, I like Achan over 54.5 and Mostert over 36.5, both minus
Mm.
113. I think those numbers are low. They want to run the ball, and I think with Tua there, that's going to help the run game a lot and open things up. And then
What
I
was that
like
Mostert number? What was
Mostert's
the
at
Mostert
over
number?
36.5.
Huh.
And they've been feeding him, like they've been giving him carries. I'm not worried about the 2-headed backfield. Like they want to run the
Yeah.
ball, and they run the ball a lot better with Tua there. And then I got Tua over 225 passing yards. I like that number. I don't think that Arizona defense is great,
Yeah.
and they haven't seen an offense like Miami wants to run. So I like those 3 in that game, and then the other game is the Cincinnati Philly game. I like Devonta Smith over 4.5 receiving yards. Cincinnati struggled against slot players. Devonta Smith lines up over 60% in the slot when A.J. Brown plays. And Jalen likes to feed Devonta Smith when both of those guys are on the field. It's kind of like he uses Devonta as his spam button, and then when he needs a big play, he goes to A.J. Brown. So I like him getting over 4.5 receptions. That's minus 140. And then I like Saquon over 60 yards. He might go for more. The Cincinnati run D hasn't been great, but I wanted to be a little more conservative since I'm doing a parlay. That's minus 280 for him to go over 60. He's going to get his carries. And then I like Burrow to throw over 1.5 touchdowns. And it doesn't matter the game script. If Philly gets up early, they're going to be slinging the ball. Burrow's been throwing it well, and I like him over 1.5 touchdowns. So I put all that together. It's 1806. But if you have like a single game parlay boost, I would use it on one of those.
Yeah,
So,
like
any
it.
thoughts?
The Cincinnati. What was the Burrow number?
Burrow was over 1.5. You want
Okay.
the odds for that?
Yeah. No, we're good. I over 1.5, and that's gonna be he's gonna hit that one. I like that. You got real quick here. I want to throw out do champions. We always put out they always put out a parlay. So I've got it pulled up here. We'll read this one out. Check it on all your socials though. It's out on Twitter, X, all them. But so we came up with we got Kenneth Walker, anytime touchdown. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown. JSN, anytime touchdown. Over 45.5. And Amari Cooper, 40 plus yards. And again, this is in the Bills Seahawks matchup. Plus 2308. So plus 2,308. Little 5-leg parlay there from Do Champions.
I like that
all
one.
You Bills
from us,
fans, yeah, Bills fans, Bills Mafia, hit that up. What we got here, Don? New update from Schefter. It sounds even more like Higgins is not going to play. Man, he is just we talked about this early in the season. Is this like he's been in and out since the beginning? He's not happy about the contract. Like, this is what happens. And I'm not saying he's not hurt, but
they don't play through injuries when
they just don't. They're not going to fight through. They're not going to throw it out. You know, they're going to kind of chalk it up to I'm banged up. I need to save myself for my new deal coming next year, whatever. But hey, you know, Cincinnati's been doing that crap for 20 years with these not paying guys and not, you know, what was it? Andre Smith. I might be aging myself. Andre Smith was like an offensive lineman they drafted out of Alabama in the first round, top like 8 picks maybe.
Yeah, I remember him, Bengals.
They can't get him in. They can't get him signed. And like, you know, the slots are kind of lined out when it comes to the draft, and they still couldn't get the guy signed.
Yeah, it's nothing new for the Bengals, man. They don't
Bengals they don't want to pay now.
So I have a couple of tight end anytime touchdown parlays today. I got 2 of them, 3-leggers each. I again celebrating tight end day, National Tight End Day. So my first one is Kraft plus 210, Kelsey plus 110, and Kittle plus 145. That is plus 1494. And then my part 2 is Kincaid plus 240, Joku plus 320, and Evan Ingram plus 240. That one is plus 4475. That one I really like.
What's your thoughts? I like both of them actually. What is your thoughts?
If you like both of them, I did a super one as well.
I laid that out for you, Jay. What's the number?
I added Evan Fant is the only difference. I added Noah Fant. I added him to it, and it's plus 370. If you're a sicko like me and you put all 7 of those together, you're gonna retire because it's plus 235,928. So that's one where you lay can you lay a tenth of a unit?
But
you know,
no,
like
here's what would get me though is because I would add Noah Fant. Noah Fant would be the leg that got me.
Yes.
So I would not add Noah Fant to that. I would just take the 2, put them together.
If you do the 2 together, it's plus 59,000, something like that. So still
I like
good.
that one a little. I like that minus
Pretty
the Noah
juicy.
Fant a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, so Bills fan, what is your thoughts on Kincaid this year? And kind of the lack of either usage or like, what do you think that's coming from?
So I don't think it's a lack of usage. You watch the tape and you can definitely see they have plenty of stuff designed up for him and they want to go to him. It's just been defenses have been taking him away a lot of times. They've been able to focus him because there's not someone else they're worried about. And so when you saw when Cooper come in, they did some cool stuff even on the limited practice time Cooper had. They would line him up on the same side and they would put like Cooper in the slot and put Kincaid on the outside, and then they would have Cooper run an outbreaking route and Kincaid come on the inside, and
Yeah.
Cooper kind of cleared out the space for him, and then they had him run two vertical routes, Kincaid outbreaking and against the linebacker, and he just toasted him both times. So I think this is going to help him. I think you're going to see him put up better numbers. They want to go to him. The plays are there. It's just I think more circumstance defenses have taken him away,
Yeah.
and then Josh has kind of missed a couple throws to him as well.
Yeah.
But I like the more vertical stuff they've built into him, and yeah, I'd expect anything for him to get more usage, not less.
Yeah, I think the Amari Cooper, so he can work out of the slot, he can work outside, he can, he's worked everywhere since he's been in the NFL. So I think more than anything, he's gonna open up stuff for these other guys. Cooper
Hmm.
might not have crazy numbers. I just think the offense is gonna be better overall, just adding him. He'll be
Yeah.
he's your go-to guy when you need to, but he's not gonna have gaudy numbers. He's gonna help the offense have better numbers, though, in my opinion.
Yeah. Speaking of that game, do you have any sides in that game? I can go over my props for that game from my show, but what about
No, yeah, go
do you
ahead.
have any
Yeah, no,
lean
go
in
ahead.
that game at all?
Nope, nope, hit him.
So I liked Ray Davis over 22 and a half. He's gone over 40 in his last two. Um, I think they're going to give him more opportunities. He had 9 carries last week, even with Cook playing. So I think that number's pretty low, over 22 and a half. And then speaking of Kincaid, his line was only 40. I like him to do that. It's minus 106. I think he can do that in 2, 3 catches. So I like that number. And then I love Kenneth Walker here. I think he probably goes for a season high today. I like him over 64 and a half. I think that number's way too low. It's minus 113. He could do that in one run. And then I like Geno Smith over 12 and a half rushing yards. I think that's really low. That's one scramble for Geno. I think he's an underrated scrambler. He's beat that number, I think, in 3 or 4 games already this year. And with Buffalo's linebackers and lack of Bernard in there, I could totally see the middle open up and Geno run because the Bills, I think, D-line's going to get pressure on him. I like AJ to get a sack. It's plus 148. And then I like Jones for Seattle to get a sack. It's plus 280. And then anytime touchdowns, Kenneth Walker minus 110. Anytime you get an RB1 with a number like that, I'll
Yep,
take it all day.
yep.
Cook's numbers plus 140. I thought that was way too good. So I'll take that. He's scored in his last 2 games, 4 of 5 games. So I like a James Cook anytime. And then the two, I always have two kind of flyer anytime bets in Bills games. So I like a Jake Bobo touchdown plus 390.
Bobo.
Yeah, with Metcalf not in there, they kind of like him in the red zone. And so I'll take a flyer on him plus 390. And then Knox, I think they've been trying to do a little bit with him in the red zone. And so I'll take a Knox to get his touchdown plus 700.
Yeah, the only other thing I've got, not player specific on this game, but I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they had John Gruden on, and they were talking about some of the offenses that he kind of likes, some people that are doing kind of different things in the NFL that he was kind of watching film on behind the scenes. And he talked about the Seattle offense with the new coordinator from Washington. Was it Grubbs, right?
Yeah, Grubb.
Um,
Ryan
and
Grubb.
he said, I'm interested to see how Buffalo's defense, because it's been a big talking point. Buffalo's defense, they come out, they're vanilla, they don't react to people's scripted plays. They kind of wait until they get through the scripted stuff usually, and then they kind of adjust after that. So Buffalo has been prone to give up some early points before they kind of adjust defensively. And Gruden was talking about this offense for Seattle, how their change of pace, they're kind of stopping and going. They're no huddle, 2 plays, then they're back in the huddle, then they're waiting to react to see what the defense is going to change to. So could be a nice little kind of cat and mouse game between that Seattle offense and kind of this Bills defense to see, kind of what happens in that matchup.
Yeah, I'm expecting points. I think that's a good point. I think if the Bills are gonna, I think whoever scores 30 or more is should win this game. I worry about the Bills' defense ability to stop the run and yeah, I'm definitely worried. So we'll see. I think that's a good point though. The Bills for sure are known to give up early points, um, and I think this is not a game you want to be chasing Seattle. So.
Yeah, no, Seattle they've got spots where they can put some points up. So
Hmm.
you definitely don't want to get down early and just have to be one dimensional and start chasing.
Did you have any thoughts on the Monday night game, Giants Steelers?
Yeah, we could hit a little recap on or a little preview on that one. I'm sure we'll put out a graphic for that with some bets. What's Matt got here?
He's saying the backup middle linebacker who's going to start for the Bills needs to step up and stop the run. No, I agree, Matt. I think stopping the run is the key to this game. Like if you can keep Walker from not even just like getting yards, but breaking the big ones, he gets a crease, man. He's gone. Like if you can limit the explosives in the run game, I think that would be huge for the Bills this week. I don't expect them to stop the run per se, but just limit the explosives. I think would be huge.
Yeah, so Giants Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of no, not a very intriguing game in my eyes. Giants are obviously not a fun team to watch per se, other than maybe Neighbors kind of going off doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Pickens on the Pittsburgh side. Can Russ do what he did?
It's
Excuse
a
me, last
sneaky
week.
game, man. Like Giants D
Um,
line is really good. Obviously Pittsburgh's like I don't like the over under's 36 and a half. Like
I think
I'm
that
not sure
number's
they envision.
low.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't I don't know, man. I don't know how much points they're gonna be putting up.
I don't. This could be, this could go one of two ways. It could go sloppy, ugly under
Mm-hmm.
just, a Giants nasty offensive game. Steelers just squeak one out, or Neighbors and Pickens. They're going deep to these two guys, and, and they break a couple
Right.
couple long ones. I don't trust Russell Wilson to continue to do what he did last week, but we'll see. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. I'm not too much into this game. Don't have a lot of thought or action on this right now. Don't like the number. Yeah, I'm kind of off on this one.
Yeah, it's a shame, man, when these single games, standalone games are not super exciting. Um, but like you said, it could be one of those ugly games, man. Like if Daniel Jones turns the ball over and gives Steelers some easy points, it might not be that close. But I feel like this is like one of those sneaky games that the Giants come out of nowhere and play them real tough or win, and the Steelers slip up on and lose to a team they have no business losing to.
All right. You got anything else you want to hit on, Jake, before we kind of wrap it up?
I think I have spent all my money on bets. I think I'm
Yeah.
all cashed out.
Uh,
I do have a running back anytime parlay that we didn't cover, but
Go ahead, hit
um,
it. What you got?
all right. I got Barkley. I like Saquon. We talked about Gibbs already. I like Gibbs anytime, and then Mixon anytime. I'll take that all day. Kenneth Walker. We talked about him. I think he's gonna score. Brees Hall. I definitely think he's got a good shot at one. And then Javonte Williams, we talked about him heating up. And then Kareem Hunt, I think he's going to get into. They run the ball no matter what. He's been running the ball well. Your Raiders not been dealing with the run well. So I put all those together. It's plus 39.86.
Plus
Donnie's
39.
tapped. Certified degenerates. That is what we're here for. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Bet responsibly, please. This is supposed to be for fun and entertainment. Stay within your means.
Yeah. I real quick, since we kind of changed our format a little bit this week. Obviously Jesse was out, but we also kind of went away from hitting every single game in the
Mm.
line, the spread, the overrun, like everything. We kind of just hit our best bets and kind of talked some football about them bets. Raiders at home against the Chiefs. I have to, I guess, say a little bit about my Raiders, even though it's, again, we talked about my Raiders cycle.
Hey, I got a
Um,
question for you in that
yeah,
game.
what you got?
Is it? I feel like it's just a myth. Like the Raiders don't play the Chiefs that well. Like they did it one
No,
time last year,
they
right?
did
But
it. Yeah. Here's
right,
why.
everyone keeps saying the Raiders play the Chiefs well, and I looked and it doesn't look like it.
No, and it's recency bias. It's because it happened on Christmas. The whole world's seen it last year. Usually
Yeah.
nobody's watching a Raiders game. Last year, everybody's watching it. And then it's the Taylor Swift Christmas, the
Mm,
Chief Mahomes. So that game last year, Max Crosby getting after Patrick, running his mouth to him. It's recency bias. That's what it is. Nobody
all
plays
right.
the Chiefs well. Well, when you play against the officials and the greatest quarterback going, that
Yeah.
tends to happen. So, but now they're in a bad spot. It's at home. Literally, the only thing that can happen is this game. If Crosby just gets to Mahomes and gets him off his spot, he turns the ball over, which
He's
he's
been
been
doing that
doing.
this year. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to bite them. Kansas City plays these close games because they got a great defense, but there's going to be a spot where Mahomes throws some picks, fumbles, whatever, returns the ball over like he has been, and it'll cost them, and they won't have the ball late for him to go down and end it. I don't think this is the spot. Don't get me wrong, but they'll lose a game or two because they'll just keep playing with fire in these close games, and Mahomes just won't pull it out on a time or two. So,
Do the Raiders score 10 points?
Yes,
Wow.
maybe
Look at.
13.
How many does
uh,
Kansas City score? That is the question.
to that point, I think
20?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 to 10, 2013, which is
Yeah.
what's the line on it?
Nine and a half last I looked.
9.5.
Yeah.
I nine. I mean, if you could get that at 9.5, as crazy as it sounds, the Chiefs don't blow teams out right now.
No, they don't. Matt's got a question. Would you start Khalil Shakir or Darnell Mooney?
Hmm. Man, it's the Bills' weapons on offense right now. I'd be a little hesitant just because they have more options now. But Shakir, man, he catches every ball comes to him. What was he? 7 targets, 7 catches last week or whatever it was.
Yeah, he's got like a 90
Um,
something percent catch rate. I
yeah.
think 27 of 28.
Mooney's a little more of. I think I would tend to agree with Don on this. Maybe Mooney in that game. What's your thoughts, Jake?
I think I agree. As far as upside, Shakir's more of like your steady 4 or 5 receptions, 50 yards. He doesn't get in the end zone a ton unless he breaks a crazy one. I think Mooney's got more of a chance to get a couple of the bigger throws, a touchdown, something like that. So I usually play it for upside.
Yeah, I was going to say, we kind of hit fantasy in the preseason with our rankings and stuff. We haven't talked a lot of fantasy, since the season starts, but it kind of depends on your roster makeup. If you've got some high upside boom or bust other wide receivers, maybe you go Shakir to kind of lock you in some safe receptions if it's a PPR league. If you're kind of weak at wide receiver and you need a boom guy, then go Mooney. Kind of depends on your roster makeup, but
This is a great segue into our last segment. Little DFS, right?
DFS, yeah. Let's see here.
Little
So
FanDuel action here.
yeah, just me and Jake here. Jesse was so busy, he couldn't even give us his DFS lineup. Well,
Drinking.
so yeah, hitting it last night. We're good, man. Um, All right, well, kind of let's hop back and forth here, Jake.
All right. Snake it.
Yep. QB, I've got Jared Goff, 7,900. Only worry is, like I talked about, them running the ball in this game. Maybe he doesn't
Yeah.
have crazy numbers, but
And a
yeah,
blowout too early.
yeah.
I got Lamar Jackson. Similar concerns. I'm hoping that it can stay close for a little while, but I think he'll put up enough points early enough.
All right.
And then I got Brees Hall. I think they're running the ball more. New England's not been great stopping the run, and I think he should have a big game. So I wouldn't be surprised if New England can keep it close enough too that they have to. But I could see the Jets getting up early and just trying to run out the clock too. So I like this spot.
Yeah, so my two running backs here, I've got Achane and I've got Derrick Henry. I spent the money on Derrick
Going
Henry.
big, baby.
I typically don't do that, but man, him, and then if Achane can get going with, maybe not loading the box up with Tua back, yeah, high on my running
Cardinals
backs.
defense. I like it. That's a good one. I like Achane a lot. I went Javonte Williams. I think he's really been getting better every week. I think this is a good spot for him at home. And then we talked about earlier. I really like Drake London. They've been targeting him a lot, so it's a good spot. He might even get in the end zone today, and you obviously like him as well.
Yep. So my wide receivers right here, I've got London also, same thing. You talked about his reception numbers. He's hitting over that kind of line they're putting him at every week. Last what'd you say, 5-6 weeks or something?
Yep.
And then Amari Cooper. Yeah, little Bills threw by sprinkle a little Bills action in here.
Love it.
7,100.
I got Tyreek Hill. A little worried about the foot, but I think he'll be good to go. They like feeding him the ball. I think those big plays are gonna be there, and it just takes one with him. So he might catch the Cardinals sleeping a little bit with how bad the offense has looked. They haven't really seen what Tua looks like with them yet, so I'll take a little gamble. I don't think 7,600 is that much for Tyreek Hill. And then I went Tyler Lockett. Gino, they Seattle's the number one team in pass attempts. Metcalf's probably not going to go. They got to throw to somebody. He really likes Lockett in the intermediate and short area, and so I'll take it. Lockett's really good against zone as well, so which the Bills like to run.
Yeah, so I got Brian Thomas Jr., 6,500. Kind of a shootout game, I'm thinking, between them and Green Bay. So we already hitting for as anytime TD with him. So kind of doubling up there. And then Laporta at tight end, 6,000. Kind of stacking him and Goff with Jamison Williams out. Look for Laporta to maybe get back on track.
I like it. I went Kincaid. I went just value. 4,000 I think is just insanely low. Like I said, I think they can go over the middle of this game, and him matched up against either of those linebackers is money. So 4,000 for Kincaid. And then I went J.K. Dobbins. I think the Chargers obviously want to run the ball, and hopefully he can break one. And I'll cash in. So 7,400 for Dobbins, and then I'll just finish with the defense. I went Detroit. I didn't love the defenses this week. It was tough, man. I see you went the value route.
Yeah.
It was either going as cheap as you
Zero,
can, right?
Yep.
Or try to steal some points. So I'm hoping Detroit can cause some turnovers from Rudolph and some negative plays and make me my money back. But yeah, defenses this week were rough.
Yeah, so to finish off my flex, Cortland Sutton, 5,600. If they're gonna throw the ball in that game, I feel like it's gonna go to him. Wasn't it the Denver wide receiver that got shot in the club this past?
Josh Reynolds.
Was that this past week? Okay,
that was last Friday.
So yeah, Sutton is going to be the guy when they do throw it. So yeah, 5,600. So obviously I took what was left over with him, and my defense here, 3,000, which is the lowest defense in FanDuel. Raiders. Literally just, dart throw here with Crosby getting after Mahomes, sacks, fumbles, maybe, Mahomes hits one of these interceptions. Maybe the Raiders return one. Yeah, literally dart throw on his defense. So,
That's a good call,
um,
though. I think with the value you're getting with it, it's worth it because they've been turning the ball over.
yeah. All right, Jake. You got anything else of note you want to talk?
Let's have a day, man. This is the day for
Yeah.
the quad box. Watch as much of this as you can.
Yeah.
Enjoy. I don't know how much you're going to be enjoying your game, but hopefully we're all celebrating a big Raiders upset, and then we'll watch a big Bills win on the road in Seattle.
That would be nice. Before we get out of here, Altered Grounds Landscaping. Go check them out. Landscaping needs in the Midwest. Winter comes, these snowstorms that they hit up there in the Midwest. Hey, they do snowplow. You need your bank, your hospital. Need it cleaned up. Need that snow and ice cleaned off. Hit them up. Check us out on TikTok. No.1.2.blame. On all the socials, on X, on Twitter, Dubby.gg. Check them out. Sons of Erie. Go check out their artwork. Do Champions. We got a bunch of shows out there. Kind of run through kind of the do roster here. Post Podium on Monday. No One to Blame on Tuesdays. Coast to Coast. Post Podium again. Third and Manageable on Friday also. Hockey Hotline. Big one there. Early mornings, right? We go
Yep.
early mornings on the Hockey Hotline.
Saturday morning.
Yep. Buffalo Blueprint Saturday evening.
Come join
And
me.
then No
9
One to
p.m. Eastern.
Yep. Check Jake out. No One to Blame again. Right back here Sunday 10 a.m. next week. All right. I think that will take us out. You good, Jake?
I'm good, man. Go Bills.
All right. Everybody have a day.
No one to blame.